I never thought I'd spike the eggnog with truth serum, but watching my father's greedy eyes light up over the turkey that Christmas Eve made me realize some poisons work better without the poison. My mother had whispered in my ear as we carved the ham, "Skylar, honey, this is family. Blood's thicker than the gravy," but her fingers were already rifling through my purse like it was the collection plate at church. And when my brother Jake leaned back, belching out a laugh that smelled like cheap bourbon and entitlement, declaring, "Sis, you're loaded now. Time to pay up for all we've done," I knew the only gift under that tree would be the one I wrapped in fire. It was the winter of 2024, and Chicago's wind was howling like it had a personal grudge against the holidays. I'd driven 8 hours from my cramped apartment in Milwaukee, the kind of place where the heat kicks on like it's doing you a favor, just to be here, in the old family house on the outskirts of Naperville, Illinois. The one with the sagging porch and the Christmas lights that flickered like they were Morse coding regrets. My parents, Tom and Linda Hayes, had called me 2 weeks earlier, their voices syrupy over the phone. "Skylar, it's been too long. Come home for Christmas. We miss you." Jake's bringing the kids. I should have known better. Families like mine don't miss you. They miss what you can give them. I'm Skylar Hayes, 28 years old, a graphic designer scraping by on freelance gigs for tech startups that promise the moon but pay in exposure. I'd clawed my way out of this suburb 5 years ago, after the divorce, my parents' ugly split that left me holding the bag for their debts, their lies, their everything. But blood, right? That's what they always said. Blood ties you tighter than a noose. The drive down I-94 had been a blur of gray skies and slushy highways, my old Honda Civic groaning like it sensed the trap ahead. I'd packed light, a duffel with wool sweaters, a bottle of red wine as a peace offering, and the envelope. God, that envelope. It was tucked in my glove compartment, sealed with the kind of tape that screams, "Don't open me." Inside were the documents I'd unearthed 6 months back, buried in a storage unit my father thought he'd locked away forever. Forged signatures, falsified loans, my name stamped on every line like I was the family ATM. The crime I'd taken the fall for, the embezzlement from his construction firm back in 2018. He'd framed me for it, let me rot in community service and a felony record that killed my first big job offers, all while he pocketed the cash to fund Jake's fresh start after his 3rd DUI. I pulled into the driveway at dusk, the house glowing with those tacky inflatable Santas that bobbed in the wind like drunk uncles at a wedding. Mom rushed out first, her arms loaded with Tupperware and that fake smile plastered on like holiday tinsel. "Skylar, look at you. All city girl chic." She air-kissed my cheeks, her perfume a cloying mix of vanilla and desperation. Dad hung back on the porch, nursing a Bud Light, his guts straining against a flannel shirt that hadn't fit right since the 90s. "Hey, kiddo." Long time. Jake arrived fashionably late, his wife Tara in tow with their 2 snot-nosed boys, ages 5 and 7, already hyped on candy canes. Jake was the golden child. Always had been. The one who got the truck for his 16th birthday while I mowed lawns for gas money. He clapped me on the back too hard, like we were frat brothers. "Sky, heard you're killing it up north." That art stuff paying off. We settled into the living room, the tree of fire hazard of discount ornaments and strings of burnout bulbs. The kids tore into presents early, Barbie dream houses for the boys. Because gender norms die hard in this house, while the adults sipped spiked cider. Conversation flowed like it always did, surface-level bullshit about the Bears' losing season, Aunt Karen's latest MLM scam, and how the neighborhood was going to hell with all the new immigrants. I nodded along, my wine glass sweating in my hand, waiting for the shoe to drop. It dropped over dinner, as these things do. The table was a spread straight out of a Norman Rockwell fever dream gone wrong. Dry turkey, lumpy mashed potatoes swimming in gravy that tasted like regret, and green bean casserole because Mom still thought it was 1975. Dad carved with theatrical flair, muttering about how real men provide. Jake shoveled food like it was his last meal, the boys mimicking him with gleeful abandon. Tara, bless her, tried to steer talk to neutral ground, her yoga studio, the PDA bake sale, but Mom had other plans. So, Skylar, she started, her fork poised like a dagger. We've been reading about you online. That little design firm you started? Congrats on the funding round. Her eyes gleamed, and I felt the hook sink in. I'd posted about a small investor bite on LinkedIn. Nothing major. Just enough to cover rent for a year. But in this family, success was code for share the wealth. I forced a smile, spearing a cranberry. Yeah, it's coming along. Early days. Dad leaned in, his breath rank with onions. Early days mean opportunity. Kid. We've been thinking. Family sticks together. Right? Especially at Christmas. He slid a folder across the table. The kind with dog-eared edges and coffee stains. Inside, bills. Hospital tabs from his minor heart scare last year that he'd hidden from insurance. Jake's mortgage payments overdue because his contracting gig tanked. And Mom's credit card debt from retail therapy post-divorce. The total? 80 grand. My stomach twisted. They tallied it up like I owed them for the womb rental. Jake chimed in, wiping his mouth with his sleeve. Come on, Sky. You were always the smart one. Bail us out, and we'll call it even. Hell, we'll even say thanks. His grin was all teeth, no soul. Tara looked away, her cheeks flushing she knew, but saying no to Jake was like arguing with a brick wall. I stared at the folder, the numbers blurring. This wasn't an ask, it was a shakedown. The betrayal hit like a freight train, not just the money, but the reminder of everything I'd buried. That embezzlement? Dad had cooked the books when the firm was bleeding cash, signing my name to the loans because you're clean. Kid, no priors. I discovered it too late, after the auditors came calling. He begged me to take the plea deal, 6 months probation, a record that branded me unhireable for years. For the family, he'd sobbed. Jake had been in on it too, using the skimmed funds to buy his first house. And Mom? She notarized the fakes, her signature a flourish of denial. I can't, I whispered, my voice cracking like thin ice. The room went still, forks hovering. Dad's face darkened. Can't, or won't, after all we've sacrificed. Sacrificed. The word exploded out of me, hot and sharp. You ruined me. That record cost me everything, jobs, loans, my goddamn future. Jake snorted. Ancient history. Sis. Get over it. We're family. The kids whimpered, sensing the storm. Tara murmured excuses about bedtime, but no one moved. Mom reached for my hand, her nails digging in. Skylar. Please. We're drowning here. I yanked away, the chair scraping like nails on a chalkboard. That's when I saw it, the glint in Dad's eye. The same one from 7 years ago when he'd handed me the pen to sign my life away. Cunning. Calculating. Flipping the script like a pro. He wasn't the victim. He was the architect. And, in that moment, under the chandelier's harsh glow, I decided revenge wasn't a dish best served cold. It was a feast, served piping hot with all the trimmings. I stood, heart pounding, and pulled the envelope from my coat pocket, the one with the truth. You want payment? Fine. But first, let's settle the real bill. What happened next? Let's just say the eggnog never tasted the same. The envelope hit the table with a thud that echoed like a gavel in a courtroom no one wanted to be in. Papers spilled out, printouts of bank statements, emails timestamped from 2018, affidavits from a PI I'd hired on credit last spring. Dad's face drained of color, going the shade of overcooked stuffing. What the hell is this? Skylar? This, I said, my voice steady now, laced with the kind of Midwestern steel that comes from too many winters, is the bill you've owed me for 7 years. The one you thought you buried in that storage locker up in Schaumburg. Mom gasped, hand fluttering to her pearls like they could ward off the devil. Skylar Marie Hayes. You wouldn't. Wouldn't what? Blackmail my own family. I laughed, bitter and hollow. That's rich. Coming from you. Remember the night you forged my signature on those loan docs? You said it was just paperwork. Sweetie, I was 21, fresh out of community college, dreaming of art school. And you turned me into a felon. Jake shifted, his chair creaking under his bulk. This is bullshit. You got off easy, probation, not jail. Dad took the heat for the rest. Took the heat. I rounded on him, the words tumbling out like an avalanche I'd held back too long. He pinned it all on me. The auditors thought I was the mastermind because you made sure the trails led to my desk. And you used the money for that down payment on your McMansion in Aurora. The one Tara's been begging you to sell because you can't afford the upkeep. Tara's eyes widened, flicking to Jake. Is that true? He shot her a glare that could curdle milk. Don't listen to her. She's unhinged. City life's fried her brain. The boys, sensing the vibe shift, started fussing with their napkins, twisting them into forts. One whimpered. Uncle Tommy bad? Dad, Tommy to the kids, reached over to ruffle his hair, but his hand trembled. Classic deflection. That's how he'd always played it. Flip the blame. Play the martyr. Make you question your own sanity. But not tonight. Tonight. The mask was cracking. I paced the room. The Persian rug, Mom's one splurge from the divorce settlement, muffling my steps. The Christmas playlist droned on in the background, Bing Crosby crooning about white Christmases like he knew shit about snow in your soul. Let's go back. Shall we? 2018. Dad's firm is tanking, bad bids. Worse subcontractors. Instead of folding, you skim $150,000. Not chump change, enough to send Jake to rehab, buy Mom that cruise she always wanted, and keep the lights on. But audits loom. So you need a fall guy. Dad slammed his fist down. Silverware jumping. I protected this family. You were collateral. Collateral? The word tasted like bile. I lost my scholarship, my internship at that ad agency in the Loop. Spent 2 years temping at Starbucks, lying on applications about the record. And for what? So you could toast to family first at Jake's wedding. Mom was crying now, silent tears carving tracks through her blush. We were desperate. Skylar. The economy. Your father. It was a mistake. Mistake implies accident, I shot back. This was a plan. Emails from your Gmail. Mom, sign as Skylar. She'll never know. And Jake. Your text to Dad. Tell her it's for my future kids. Future kids who are sitting right here. Thinking their aunt's the villain. Tara stood, gathering the boys. I need air. Come on, guys. She herded them toward the den, but paused at the doorway, her voice a whisper. Jake. If this is true, he exploded. It's not. She's twisting it. Always the drama queen. But his eyes darted to the papers. And I saw the flip, denial to deflection in a heartbeat. The Hayes special, misdirection. Gaslighting. Rinse. Repeat. I snatched the folder of bills, ripping it in half with a satisfying tear. Shreds fluttered like confetti at a funeral. You want my money? Earn it. Confess. All of you. On record. Or I walk these docs straight to the DA's office in DuPage County. Embezzlement's got no statute on the fraud angle. And with my record as evidence of coercion, you'll all go down. Dad's cunning kicked in then, the flip I knew was coming. He softened his voice, leaning forward like a used car salesman. Okay, kid. Let's talk. What do you want? Equity in the firm? A cut of Jake's place? Name it. It was controversial. That offer, bribing your own daughter to bury your sins. Part of me wavered. The old Skylar, the one who fixed Christmases with glue and hope, wanted to believe in redemption. But the new one, she saw the trap. Forgiveness, without justice, was just another chain. No, I said. I want the truth. Tonight. In front of everyone, I pulled out my phone, hitting record. The red light blinked like a devil's eye. Jake lunged for it, but I sidestepped, heart racing. Touch me, and it's assault on top of fraud. Mom wailed, collapsing into her chair. Please, Skylar. Think of the family. Family? I echoed. Family doesn't eat their young. The standoff stretched, the clock ticking past midnight into Christmas Day. Outside, snow started falling, blanketing the world in white lies. Inside, the air thickened with unspoken accusations, each breath a negotiation. Dad's mind was whirring. I could see it, the wheels turning toward his next play. Would he confess, double down, or flip the script entirely, painting me as the ungrateful leech? What I didn't expect was Tara's voice from the doorway, steady as steel. Record it all. I want to hear it too. The room fractured then, alliances shifting like sand. And as the confessions began to trickle out, halting, venomous, I realized revenge wasn't just about payback. It was about rewriting the story, one ugly truth at a time. But the real storm? That was brewing in the twists yet to come. Dad's confession came first, because of course it did. He was always the director of this family farce. He cleared his throat, the sound like gravel in a blender, and fixed his eyes on the phone's lens. Fine. Back in 18, Hayes Construction was underwater. I cooked the books. Borrowed from the petty cash account, funneled it through fake vendors. Needed $150,000 to cover payroll and Jake's indiscretions. He glanced at his son, who stiffened like a board. Skylar walked in on the mess, saw the ledgers. I panicked. Convinced her it was a loan. Had her co-sign. Then the auditors. They zeroed in on her name. I let it stick. Let it stick. My laugh was a bark, raw and disbelieving. You coached me through the plea. Say you did it alone, baby girl. Dad'll make it right. And you never did. He shrugged, that infuriating half-smile creeping in, the one that said, "Men make hard choices." I paid the restitution anonymously. Through Jake. Jake's head snapped up. What? No. Yes. Dad cut him off, voice sharpening. The flip was seamless, from penitent to prosecutor. Your rehab. That truck. The wedding. I covered it all with what was left. You're welcome, son. Jake's face twisted, red creeping up his neck. You son of a... That's my money. I earned that contracting license. Earned, Mom interjected, her tears drying into something sharper. You blew $40,000 on poker nights in Joliet, Jacob. Your father bailed you out again and again. And me? I was the one notarizing. Yes. But only because you two left me no choice. The divorce lawyers were circling, and I needed to protect what's mine. The room spun with revelations, each one a landmine. Tara, back with the boys tucked away, watching Elf on mute, crossed her arms. Protect? You mean the alimony you hid from the courts? I found the statements last year. Linda. Skylar's name on offshore accounts to dodge taxes. Mom whirled on her. You little, how dare you snoop? It's my marriage. My home. Tara shot back, her yoga mom facade cracking. For the first time, I saw the steel beneath, the woman who'd married into this viper pit and somehow kept her soul. I kept the phone steady, capturing it all, the accusations flying like snowballs in a schoolyard brawl. Jake turned on Dad next. You promised that money was clean. That's why I bought the house, for stability. For the kids. Stability, Dad sneered. You crashed 3 cars before 25. I gave you a lifeline. And there it was, the core rot. No one was the villain alone. We were all complicit in the Hayes House of Cards. I'd signed those papers. Too trusting. Too eager to please. Mom's mistake funded her freedom. Jake's indiscretions were the spark. Dad's cunning wove the web. Controversial? Hell yes. Who roots for the whistleblower when the whistle's blown on everyone? The eggnog sat untouched, curdling in the decanter. I'd spiked it earlier, not with drugs, but with a dash of bitters and a printed timeline of their sins, tucked under the labels. One sip, and the festive drink turned confessional. Not literal serum, but close enough, the truth burns going down. As the clock struck 1, exhaustion crept in. Dad slouched, defeated. What now? Skylar? You gonna ruin us all? I lowered the phone. The recording paused at 47 minutes. Ruin?
You did that yourselves.
But here's the deal. I keep this video. You pay back every cent you stole from me, from the firm. Sell the house if you have to. Jake. Downsize.
Mom.
Get a job, real one. Not pyramid schemes. And Dad, you turn yourself in. Partial truth for leniency. Jake bolted up. No way. The kids. We'll have a father who owns his shit, I snapped. Or a legacy of lies. Tara nodded slowly. I'm in. We've been one bad month from foreclosure, anyway. Mom wailed again. But it was performative now, the flip to victim one last time.
Dad.
Though, his eyes narrowed. Calculating. And if we don't, I smiled. Cold as Lake Michigan in January. Then the video goes viral. Suburban dad frames daughter for holiday heist. Think of the comments. The neighbors. The church ladies with their pitchforks. It was a bluff. Half true. I'd leak it to local news first, WGN or the Tribune. Let the controversy simmer. Divide the family? Already done. Divide the readers. The watchers? That's the hook. Was I the hero reclaiming her due? Or the vengeful harpy torching bridges for clicks? We hashed it out till dawn. Signatures on a notarized agreement. Ironic. That, promising restitution in installments. Jake stormed off to the guest room, Tara trailing with apologies. Mom retreated to her wine. Dad lingered, clapping my shoulder. You're a haze.
All right.
Ruthless. Learn from the best, I replied. By morning, the snow had piled high,
Burying the driveway.
I shoveled while they slept. The rhythm meditative scoop,
Toss. Repeat.
revenge felt,
Hollow. No.
clarifying, like shedding a skin that never fit. But as I loaded my car, phone buzzing with a video file, I missed the twist. A text from an unknown number. Nice play, Skylar.
But you forgot the middleman.
Check your email. Heart sinking. I opened it. Attachments. Photos of me. Surveilling the storage unit last year. Sender. A friend.
And below.
A demand, $50K. Or the world sees my extortion scheme. Someone had flipped on me. The betrayal deepened. Who?
Jake.
Hedging bets?
Dad.
One last con? Or Tara? Playing both sides? The drive home blurred into paranoia. Chicago's skyline a jagged promise of more storms. Revenge wasn't over. It was just beginning. And this time, the noose might tighten around my neck. The email sat like a bomb in my inbox, ticking away the seconds of my fragile victory. I pulled over at a rest stop off I-94, the kind with vending machines hawking stale coffee and dreams of escape. My hands shook as I clicked the attachments, grainy shots of me jimmying the storage lock. Timestamps from May 24. Whoever a friend was, they'd been watching, close enough to catch my license plate in the moonlight. $50,000 wired by New Year's. Or your little family reunion goes public. Extortion at Christmas. #goal. Attached was a draft post. Scripted for X or TikTok. Me forcing confessions. Edited to make me the monster. The video I'd recorded? Mirrored back. Spliced with ominous music and text overlays. Daughter blackmails broke parents for holiday cash. Panic clawed at my throat, but I swallowed it down with black coffee that tasted like asphalt. Think. Skylar. This was Hayes 101, counter blackmail. The flip that keeps you one step ahead. But who? Jake had the motive. He'd always been petty. The type to hire a PI from Craigslist to protect the fam. Dad?
Too proud.
But cunning enough. Mom?
Nah. She cried too easy. Tara.
The wild card. She'd seemed solid. But marriages like hers bred secrets. I forwarded the email to my PI contact, old school friend from Milwaukee. Owed me a favor, and hit the road again. The Civic's wipers slapping away flurries. By Milwaukee's outskirts. My phone pinged. Trace incomplete. But IP bounced through a VPN in Naperville.
Close to home.
Too close. That night, in my apartment overlooking the frozen lake, I paced the linoleum, plotting. Revenge 2.0 couldn't be brute force. It had to be surgical, controversial, make him question if I was the villain all along. I drafted my own script, leaked the original video, but edited with context. Call it the Hayes Heist, a daughter's reckoning. Post on a throwaway account. Seated on Reddit's r/true off my chest and r/pro revenge. let the internet divide, half cheering my takedown, half decrying the family implosion. But dawn brought doubt. Was this me? Or them? The felony records still haunted job apps. I'd internalized their crime. And the kids, innocent collateral in a war of adults. A knock shattered the silence. Through the peephole, Jake. Alone. Duffel in hand. Sky. Open up. We need to talk. I cracked the door. Chain on. How'd you find me? White pages. Genius. He looked wrecked stubble. Bloodshot eyes. Tara left me. Said the lies were too much. Kids are with her folks. Guilt stabbed. But I steeled. What do you want? To end this. He shoved a USB drive through the gap. Everything, ledgers, confessions, even Dad's offshore stash. Full access. In exchange, you drop the video. And call off your dog. My dog.
The PI.
Yeah. I hired him after Tara started sniffing. Thought you were coming for the house. He laughed. Mirthless. Turns out, you were. The flip, brother to beggar. Controversial decision. Trust him? Or burn it all? I took the drive. Unchaining the door. We sat at my thrift store table. Steam rising from mismatched mugs. Why now? Because you're right. It ends with us.
Not them.
His voice cracked. Dad's planning to flip it back. Blame you for the whole thing. Say you planted the docs. Mom's in on it. The cunning bastard. One last con. Frame the framer. We uploaded together. Anonymous drop to the Chicago Sun-Times tip line. With the USB's proof. By noon, reporters swarmed Naperville. Dad's firm shuttered by evening. Assets frozen. Mom checked into a wellness retreat, code for rehab.
Jake?
He signed over the house to Tara. Clean title. And vanished to find himself in Arizona.
Me?
The video blew up. Millions of views. Debates raging. Justice porn or family sabotage? Comment split. Skylar's a queen. Expose the grifters. Versus. Blood's blood. She destroyed Christmas. No one right. No one wrong, just raw. American mess. The twist hit 2 weeks later. New Year's Eve. A letter from Dad. Postmarked from county lockup. You win.
Kid.
But remember, I taught you everything you know. Enclosed, a check for $200,000. Restitution. With interest. And a PS. Proud of you. A happy ending? Tragic? You tell me. I cashed it. Funded my firm, Skyline Designs, LLC. Hired Tara as partner. She's killer with branding. Jake sends postcards. Sober now. Mom calls weekly. Therapy speak heavy. But as fireworks popped over the lake, I wondered, did I avenge? Or just become them? The noose loosened. But the scars? They itch like fresh ink. In the end, revenge stuns everyone, especially the mirror.